Hi, my name is Karthik and you are watching my Poddar KK Tricks and Technology. Okay, so today is the last series of this Onion architecture in ASP.NET Core MVC. Finally, today I will implement Onion architecture in ASP.NET Core MVC, and also I will create a CRUD operation like insert, update, delete and read. Okay, so today I will show implement of onion architecture as a demo, as well as this is a part 11, and also I will create a UI layer like oa.web layer. Okay, so I'm especially recommend before watching this video, this session, please watch my part 8, part 9 and part 10, because we are implementation this session part 11. So I'm especially recommend please watch, these are below links. Okay, so just I will show you demo how we will create application in ASP.NET Core MVC, and what will output that projects. Okay, so let's move in my created in a web ASP.NET web application. Actually I will create a user list. Okay, and it's have like it will bind of the list of the user. Also it will have add user functionality. So whenever you will click on the add user, so you can add like name, information of the user. So I'm just showing the demo, and also I will implement one by one and step by step. So please watch continue till the end. Okay, so first I will add something like Karthik Kumar, address Noida, and also username like kkp 123, and email kkp@gmail.com. Also I will use password like simple password, keep, just create it. Okay, now it's great. Now you can see over here, user list is binding that user information. Okay, if you want another user, so you can just add like Karthik 1. Okay, Karthik 1, Kumar 1. Okay, KK like Noida 1, username Kumar at the rate 1, Kumar at the rate 123, as well as Kumar at the rate gmail.com, also 123. Okay, that's a simple password. Okay, now you can see over here all list is binding. Every user you can add, so it will bind automatically. Okay, also I have implement in this session, I will implement this functionality also, edit details and delete also. So I'm just seeing the edit functionality for the demo purpose. Okay, so it will, whenever you click the edit functionality, so it will populate all that particular user, you know that particular user. Like we have a that user like Karthik Kumar is a user, so I want to edit that Karthik Kumar user. So whenever you click on edit functionality, so it will auto populate all the information of that user Karthik Kumar. Okay, so if you want to edit, okay, something like this, so Kumar and Kumar 123. Okay, so just save it. So you can see over there first name and last name actually binding on the over the name. So first name and last name has been changed. Okay, so this edit functionality is working fine. And also I will check the details functionality. Okay, so details functionality, what will do, it will show the all the information of the users. Okay, so you can't modify over the here, but if you want to edit the information of the edit something like first name, last name or address, anything, so please click on the edit. And also I have implement these things, so don't worry, everything I will show you how to implement them, and I will how I will do that. Okay, so I just remove these things, just remove it and just save it. Okay, again you can see that information has been updated. Okay, so that's a good things. Also I will check the delete functionality. Okay, so if you want to delete of this user, so it will show you the confirmation. So if you really want to delete these things, so please you can use this button. Or if you just by default you have clicked this function, so if you don't want to delete this, so you just click on the back on list. And if you want to really delete these things, so just click on delete. So you can see over here one record has been deleted. So this all functionality I will implement in the ASP.NET Core MVC one by one, step by step. So let's start for the implementation. So I will take, okay, I will take my, okay, just a second. Okay, I will take that project so far we are using in my part 6, parts 8, 9 and 10. So we are creating this project. So firstly you have to create a new project of BAB project like ASP.NET Core MVC. Okay, so what you will do, just add on this functionality, new project, and just create ASP.NET Core BAB. Next, and just write on this new project like name should be like you know in a similar name like oa dot web. Okay, just create it. This project already in this okay, okay, I think some I already have created, so don't worry. First we have to delete it. Okay, okay, test. Okay, this one. Okay, so we have to delete first because I have already, for the trial purpose, I have deleted, I have created something. So just to delete web application and web test also, and test also we want to delete it. Okay, so I think if you create a new fresh project, so you don't have to delete these things. Okay, so okay, I have deleted everything. Okay, just rebuild here. Okay, and just create again. Okay, ASP.NET Core, just click o8.bab. See the location, it is under of that project, on an architecture. Just creating. Okay, just creating, it's populating. Okay. Mhm. Okay. Okay, now you can see the ASP.NET Core. Right now I have latest version of Core like ASP.NET Core 2.2. If you have version like you don't have a Core ASP.NET 2.2, so you can download a SDK of ASP.NET Core and you can see that version also here. Okay, so over here you can see the lots of template here. Okay, Angular, React, or everything. If you select the web application, so you will see the lots of templates. So if you want to take a no, empty project without a model view controller, so you can take this one. And also you want to if you want to create the API, so you can take this template. Okay, so right now I will take web application with the model view controller. Okay, so we don't have to create no model view controller folder, so it will create a sample model view controller folder. Okay, so just remove configuration for HTTPS also and just create it. It will take some few seconds. Okay, now it's creating, and you can see over here, it's restoring the packages. NuGet or also it has already restored all the packages for dependents on this project. ASP.NET Core MVC. Okay, so now you can see we have a it is a simple the project architecture of the ASP.NET Core MVC. Simple, we have see the dependencies properties and web roots, it's contain all the CSS, JSS, JS and lib folders also, some static files also you can put here. And also you can see the, it's a concept of model view and controller. And also you can see here the application setting.json, it is a configuration file. Okay. And also you can see the program.cs. Actually it is a, no, it is a console application, ASP.NET Core MVC, it is a console application. So you can over here, you can see over here now in the properties. So yeah, now right now you can see the target frame rate is what, 2.2. Also you can see the output type is a console application. Actually it is a console application. ASP.NET Core is a creating after the, .NET framework. It is a create a console application. So what happened, every time whenever running your project, the first, your debugger point will come here and check whatever you put here, like, whatever you're hosting web builder or creating default web builder. After that, it will use the startup file. What is, where is our startup file? Our startup file is the, in under the web project here. And what will do that startup file, and it will contain, two method. First is the configuration service, and first is the configuration. Actually it is use the method to add service to the container. Okay, actually mostly, all the service we have to register in the under the configuration service. Okay. And you can see another, another another method is, that will use method to configure the HTTP request pipeline. Actually whole the request pipeline will comes here and take, what services and what template you are using and what method you are using, and it will show by defaultly. Okay, so all the pipeline, HTTP request pipeline, will go through these methods. Okay, and all the services register under this. Okay, configuration service. Okay, so this is a architecture of this, ASP.NET Core MVC, or you can say ASP.NET Core. So it is nothing is new, but something is new for in before and 4.7 framework. Okay, so don't worry if you knew about this concept like ASP.NET Core. So don't worry, I will create in separate, session for ASP.NET Core. Step by step for all the videos will be available that session. Okay, so right now we will move the full concentrate of the, how to implement a, onion architecture in ASP.NET Core MVC. Okay, so I have created the ASP.NET Core MVC project. So that project architecture, look like this. Okay, so what we will do, first we have to add a connection string. Okay, so why we will add the connection string? Because I have create entities, over this two table like user and user profile. So I will store and I will create that table in the, database. So that's why I have to create a connection string here. So firstly I will use, I will create a connection, co connection string. Okay, actually, this configuration file, sp app setting.json is a key value pair file. Okay, actually it is a JSON file, so that means it will, it will contain the key value pair. So this is a key. I have created key, and after I will store the value. So what value will be here? Like, should be there, and also I will use, connection name. Okay, this is a connection string, and under the connection string we have to declare other connection name. So you can put any name of the here. So I will suggest, I will suggest, or I will use like, default connection. So default default connection. Okay, and it is also key value pair, so key always should be like and double code, and value also should be like this. Okay, okay, so first my will first I will use the source data source. Okay, so data source, we are coming from my data source, your SQL server name, your computer name. So you can log in your SQL server. Okay, and after that you can see your data engine data server name is like this. So you can put here, and I will paste here. Okay, just separate things, and I will use which DB you want to use. So I will use initial catalog for the DB name. Initialize initial catalog. I can put any name of this, so I will my first onion architecture DB. Okay, okay, so okay, and these things first, these things. Okay, and one more thing I have to write here, that is integrated security. Integrated security. Okay, okay, just remove it so that you can see what I am writing. Security should be true. Okay, so that means we are using window authentication, not we are using the SQL authentication. That why we have put the we have put the integration security true. If you are using the SQL authentication, so remove integrated security true, and also you can put the login name and password also to SA and your password. Okay, so first step I have have done. After that I will move in the program dot css. Okay, that use in the startup file. Okay, so we have to register two methods. Two method means two two dependencies, like I have created services like I user service and I user profile. So we have to register and we have to dependent of these services. Okay, so where we can register our services, already I have discussed in my startup session. So I have registered under the every service we have to register where under the configuration services. Okay, so I have registered. Okay, so services dot my first service will be like of the connection string. So I will register my connection string in this under the configuration services. So service, I will use intelligence, and I will use add db context. Okay, and actually it will contain t context. Okay, so where our t context, entity context, our entity context is the under the oa.repo, and this is our context file. Okay, so we have to copy here and we can paste here. Okay, also I will use the lambda expression for that get the connection string name. So I will use the lambda expression option optin option. Okay, so just a second. So option dot get connection. Okay, no, first we have to use a function like what what function you want to use, like what database you are using. So I am using like SQL Server. Okay, so I will put the that method SQL Server use. Actually every function is start for use, the use SQL Server. Okay, and this method, first we have to bring the namespace. So what namespace? Actually, yeah, using Microsoft code, and under this method, use this namespace. So we have to bring first that namespace, and after that, configuration. We have to get the connection string. So where we can get the connection string. So configuration dot sorry sorry. Okay, so under this configuration services, where is configuration service? Configuration service, okay, not a configuration service. We will use the configuration. Okay, so just copy and paste, and under this configuration, get connection string. I just retrieve that connection, which I have created, in this one. Okay, so I will use connection string name is look like this. Okay, so just okay, so okay, we have to bring the namespace. Actually, this file, where is our this file? Our file is in OA.repo. So we have to bring that namespace. So you can just control and dot. If you press the control dot, so you can add automatically in your project, add reference OA.repo. So you can just click, and you can see it is added. Okay, so okay, done. My first one more things, I think. Okay, now finally I have finished. I have done connection string also. So this is we have to add for the create the connection is create the tables on with the SQL Server. Also you can see use SQL. We are using use SQL. If you have like MySQL, so that time you can use my use you can use my okay, we have to use MySQL. Okay, you can use that method also, and it's have another namespace, so you can just bring that namespace, and you can also MySQL database. That time all the database, all the table will be created in the MySQL. Okay, so currently we are using the use SQL Server, so I will recommend please use this one. Okay, Okay, now now we have to registered one more two more things. First is we have to add a, re- di- you know repository, you know like dynamic dynamic repository. Okay, so we have to that repository also dependent this all two services. Okay, not for all two services, every service you have to create you will create it, so every services will dependent in this repository file. Okay, okay, so we have to register this generic repository as well. Okay, so three things we have to register. First up, generic repository, and another is two services which is dependent of that generic repository. Okay, so I will open startup. Okay, so here I will register first in our generic repository. So what will I use? Services dot, there are, I will use add scope. Okay, add scope, and I will put I repository interface generic repository, and also you can see over here, type of the service type and also the implementation type. Okay, so this is our service type, and our implementation is with the repository class. So I will use repository. Okay, okay, and actually this add scope method, we have to typecast. Without typecast you don't understand what type of you are declaring here. So we have to typecast type of. Okay, this one, and also type of. Okay, okay, so this is a service dot add scope. So what is that? Add scope nothing, actually it is a service lifetimes. Okay, it is depend whatever you have add these services. So what the scope, that repository what time it will initiate, first time it will initiate, or lifetime, all the application, whenever you close the application it will remain this object or not. So that kind of things will handle this service lifetime. How many service lifetime in the ASP.NET core. So we can say three lifetime, service lifetime, add scope and add transient, and no, third one is add singleton. Three life service, three lifetimes services we are using in ASP.NET core. Okay, so scope lifetime, services are created once per client request. Every time one suppose one client, whatever, create the application. So first time only just creating this thing. After that it will not creating, and it will use remaining object which is first time have been created. Okay, so I have done repository, generic repository, class interface and implementation, and also we have to add another services like services dot add singleton. It is another another service lifetimes. So I will talk about I will I will discuss also this point. You know, so first we have to I will use I will add interface I user service. Okay, and it's have the namespace. So first we have to bring the namespace. It is under of the OA.services, and I have added the OA.services, and it is implementation class. I will put here. You can also add singleton method. Two parameter. Expect for this overloaded method. Service type and implementation. So user service, user service. Okay, okay, okay. So we have to miss one thing here. I think not this one. I think use in the add singleton this less than greater than this method. Okay, so whenever you will add your the generic repository, you will use this syntax, and whenever you want to add your all the services which you have created OA dot services, I user profile or I user service or whatever I department or I classes or everything. So you have to add like this. Okay, so I just repeat I user profile also same behavior. I user profile and user profile. Okay, just naming convention is must. Okay, I user profile. Okay, so finally I have registered all of things under the configuration services. Okay, okay. So actually, one more things, one more service lifetime is we have to discuss here. That is you can over add transient and add singleton. Okay, so actually we will use here add singleton. Why we will use this add transient? I will talk. Just give me 1 second. Add transient. Okay. So the transient lifetime are created each time they are requested from the service container. It is a service container, and this lifetime work best of the lightweight. It's very lightweight for this add transient. So also it should be stateless and stateless service. It's not contain any HTTP HTTP request. Okay, so it is a stateless services. Okay, and also I have put the add is singleton. So what is that service lifetime scope? Singleton lifetime services are created the first time they are requested, or when startup.configuration service is run. Whenever is configuration services run, that time is will it will create it, and every subsequent request uses the same instance. If the app requires singleton behavior, allow allow allowing the service container to manage the services lifetime is recommended. Don't implement the singleton design pattern and provide user code to manage the object lifetime in the class. Okay, so we have discussed the all three lifetime services. So keep in mind everything which I have discussed. Okay, so Okay, now one thing we have to discuss, one thing more of this discuss, one more point to discuss in this file in your startup. I configuration. What is that I configuration? F configuration in ASP.NET Core is the base on the key value pair. That is a key value pair. So established by the configuration provider. Configuration provider read configuration data into key value pair from a variety of the configuration sources. Like it should be Azure key vault and command line argument, and also it should be in memory .NET objects. Everything. And how to use that I configuration. First you have to create a constructor of that startup file and up just initialize the configuration. Okay, so after that you can use that configuration in your application. Also you can use that configuration in a controller. In the later on I will show you how to use configuration file in the ASP.NET Core, in a controller. So so now everything I have completed. I have registered all the services, all the generic repository and database connection also. So now we have to create a database. So right now, okay, right now I have just refresh. Okay, just I have two database. Okay, so I have create I will create you know I will create also my first OADB database. So I will do implement that thing. So first you have to create, we have to open a console window. So just I have opened the console window. Just clear first. First I just maybe first you have to clear these things. And okay, okay. So first you have to add migration. You know, if you want to create a database in the SQL Server, so you have to use this command. Okay, so um, you know, add migration, maybe something wrong. Add migration. Okay, now. So whatever you have to write, after you just press the tab, so it will automatically, it will take, like it's have on syntax like A is capital and M is capital, so it will take automatically. Okay, so don't worry if any confusion, anything, so you can put the comments in my video session. Okay, so I will create like my first DB migration. Okay, just hit enter. If I have configure everything is on the place. So okay okay so you can see no DB context was found assembly OA.data. You know why? Because I have select OA.data. So you have to make sure before do migration, you have to, your startup, your startup project would be web application, and also your default project would be OA.repa. Why? Because under this, what is that error saying? It's saying, assembly is not reusing and correct assembly abstract generic. Okay, so DB context not found. Why it's not found? Because OA data does not have contain any context file. Where is our context file? Our context file is, under the OA.repo, repository class library. Okay, so that's why we have to select the default project of oa.repo, and it where is our configuration file, like asp.net app setting.json, and also I have configuration, that services. So that's why I will select the oa.web. Okay, just rechange configuration and just hit again and see what happened. Okay, now it's saying connection string is null. So why it's null? Just investigate. Okay, this is a default string, and just to copy here something I think we have to miss here, so we have to correct. Okay, I found out. Okay, so I have spelling mistake, spelling mistake for here. Connection string, connection strings. Okay, okay. Now just run command again. Okay, now you can see it has created. Okay, so once it has been created, okay, so you have to update migration also, update database. So what command you will use, like update. Actually it is concept of now code first approach of entity framework. So don't worry if you're not aware of this thing, so please comment on my section, on my description, so I will create a code first approach in a create details. So database, no, sorry, update database. Update database. ठीक है? Okay. So just hit enter, and yeah, it's creating optional none. It will take some time. Actually, it's restoring. You can see over the here. Wow. Now you can see it's done, and you can see over the all the table script here, and it's done. Okay, so how we can verify it's creating proper? So just log in your database and just refresh now. Okay, now what my connection string, what my db name is, db was name test onion db, and under this I have two tables. Okay, user and user profile, and user profile have a primary key, and user profile has a user have a primary key, and user profile has a foreign key relationship, which I have I have declared in the part 8 of this onion architecture session. And also it's have like migration table, how many time you will migrate, so it will manage this file also. So okay, that's fine. And okay, so now what we now I have created database successfully. So also you can see, okay, so one thing we have to discuss here. One thing you can see over here the migration folder. It's automatically created whenever you have completed your migration. So you can see all the migration script is generated, and design also. In you can see how many relationships here, so how many all these things. Okay, so Okay, now move on the next step. So first, now I have to now we proceed the controller actually, controller. So we create controller name user controller under the controller folder of the application. So I will create a controller, the name should be user. Okay. So because we have created all service of the user, so I will create a user controller. Okay. Actually, it's restoring the packages for this controller. You can see over the restore completed, and it's binding genetic code also scaffolding template creating. Okay, so just remove here. Okay, now it's a creating a controller and it's inherited by the controller. Okay, so in a ASP.NET Core it's a new things like in a previous, if you're talking about 4.7 of framework, so now Core have a new functionality of controller. In previous, whenever I have create in the API, so every controller has inherit with the API controller. But now, if you create the MVC project or if you create the API projects, so always will inherit with the controller, because all of services, all of the method include with this controller, base controller. Okay, so don't worry if you not about the API. So I will create in my channel in a later video. I will create API session. I will provide the API session also. So don't worry. So it's ha it has the all action result method for under the interface operation like insert, update, delete. All will have this user controller. Insert, update, delete. User can insert, user can update, user can delete. Which already I have show you the with the demo in the first start that session. Okay. So don't worry about these things. I will clear one by one. So first we have to, you know, create a constructor of this controller. So it is a shortcut key, CTOR and twice tab. So it will create a constructor of this user controller. Okay. So I have to registered already. I had registered in the two services. So I will use these two services in my user controller. So how I will do implement these things? So let's see in a practical example. A user service, the service. Okay. So first we have to bring the namespace. It is under the namespace of using OA dot services. Okay. So we have to add OA dot services. Also, I will set up the initialize in this constructor as well as and use a private key. Okay, so you know ASP.NET Core or Visual Studio give us the it is a great functionality. It will create, you can see over here, if you want look like this, so you can use this method, or also if you want look like this, so you can use this method. Okay, so I will use this method. I have to create a private field, and also I want to use initialize of this constructor parameter. Okay, also same thing I will use in the user profile. So user profile, same things I will use for this. Okay, so use the user control in which service interface are injected using constructor dependency injection. So it's called constructor dependency injection as well. Okay, so if you not aware this concept dependency injection, so don't worry, I will create a separate video for this. So we can notice that controller take the user services and user profile as a constructor parameter. Okay, and the ASP.NET Core dependency injection will take care passing instance in the services, okay, into the user controller. The controller is developed to handle operation request to both user and user profile entities. Now let's develop the user interface for the user listing, add user, add editing user, delete user, or let's see each one by one. Okay, so first I will create a list of the user list. So I will use, so first we have to create a model, that model contain the all the user property, like first name, last name, address, all the things look like this entities. Okay, and this entry is only for user things, but we have to add also user profile things like username, first name, last name, password, add user, so everything. So so what I will do, I will create a model. Okay, so under the model folder I have to create a model, the model name user view model, user. This video will take some time, but I am just trying to understand so deeply. Somebody see the videos and listening my talk, and he understand everything, so that's why this video will take some time. So don't worry, if you want to learn something, so you can give the time. So user view model. So that model, what property will contain, like user property as well as user profile property. Okay, so I'm just waste of time. I just keep copy and just where is our user model? I'm just paste here. Also, I will copy these things, addresses, and paste here. Okay, so my first name, this first name, last name, and also I will create a ID. Okay, so if you want to create the property via the shortcut key, so Visual Studio provide a great functionality. Like if you use prop, or you can use only pro and press the twist tab, so it will create like sample property like integer or your property name. So my property type would be integer, and not integer because uh, in my my ID is like integer in the here integer. So yeah, we can put integer also. Okay, so you can put integer, and you can, okay, we can put integer, and I will use ID. Okay, so ID, first name, last name, address, first name, last name, address, and also I will add another field like which I have missed, add time, date, time. Okay, okay, so last name, address, username, last name, password, address, add name. Okay, so all the properties I have set here in the model folder, in the model class. So And one more thing I have to add, some property, if you want to hide some property, so you can use a attribute that name is hidden input. Okay, so that hidden input bring the namespace of the user ASP.NET Core MVC. So first of the bring the namespace user Microsoft ASP.NET Core MVC. Okay, and also you can modify the some property like like if you want to display your form, so that time it will show the username. So if you want your name like like different type, so you can use this attribute also. So display and bring the namespace. It is under the system dot component model data annotation. Okay, so it's have the lots of parameters here. So I will put name, you know here's the name. You can see here the name, order, group name, everything you can set here. So I will use name equal, I will use user name. Okay, so every time I will use this model in our in our view, in the view folder. So view, in a view, so you can see or you can change the name according to you. Okay, so we don't require without spacing username. So I can use according to my my requirement. Okay, so same thing I will apply for the all property. So also email is a um, right things. And first name also I will use for the first name. So first name, also I will use for last name. Okay, so I think it is enough. Okay, I think it is enough. Okay, so now we have created action method that return view model. And now I have to create action. Well, just save all of things, your changes, and go to controller, user controller. Now you know we have to create a view of this user list. So what you will do, you can create separately, you know under this views folder. You can create user folder, and under this user folder you can add a CSTML file, and you can create. So interest of time, you can do shortcut key, like you can use the add view. Okay, so it will generate automatically your view under this user folder and this action. Okay, so like name should be index, it's okay. And your model, like which model template you want, like we want to create a list. Okay, so you have to select the template of the list. And also you can bind your model, like so I have created a view model, user view model. So I will bind that view model. So where is view model is under of the web.models. So you can select here and use default configuration, use the layout or also reference script library. So just add these things. It will take some time, so don't worry. Okay, now it says created. Okay, so it said created the model. So I have implement the action action method also for this user controller. Okay, so what action method I have to implement? Okay, so first I have to retrieve a list of the users. Okay, so how we will implement the thing? So first I have create a list of user model, user view, user view model. Okay, it is under of the web model, and just create a model and new user model. Okay, first you have to create a list. After that you have to user, or you can say this dot user service and get user. Okay, so there here is our generic, you can see the enumerable user have the is have a get user methods. Okay, so I will use that get user method. Okay, so it will return all the user, you know all the user list, and just convert in the list to list. Okay, and what I will do, every user have a profile. Okay, so already I have a create on our database, so you can see over here every user have a foreign key. That means every user have a primary key and user profile is a foreign key, like user name, anything, name. So it's name, according to name it's have like property like first name, last name, address. So what I will do, I will use link you function for each. So I will retrieve every user profile. So how we will do that? So use for each lambda expression, and just create, okay, just create a user profile and just user view model. Okay, sorry, user profile, just get of the user profile service. You also use this keyword because I have created a user profile service. Okay, user profile service dot get user profile, single record. We have to get the single record particular that user. Okay, so I will use get user profile. So it's contain ID. So we are coming from that ID. It ID will come like this expression object u dot id. Okay, and it will what it will returning, it will returning like data dot user profile. Okay, so I will use user profile. Okay, sorry, user profile as an entity. Okay, we have to bring the namespace qa.data and user profile. Okay, I think something is wrong. Okay, something is wrong means okay. I think something is wrong. Okay, I think I have missed the curly bracket, and that curly bracket comes under the end line. Okay, We have to decorate first because it's confusing. Okay, now you can see I have get the user profile in this object. Okay, user profile. Now I have to bind the user model, the all the list as a model. Okay, in the list. So we have to create user model, user view model, and the user view model is now like user equal to new user model. Okay, id id equal u dot id. Okay, name name. Okay, I have missed the name in my you know my model, so first I have put the name. Okay, just to go to definition, this one, and I just put the name property also here. That will contain first name and last name both. Okay, so I will put the name and I just remove this property. Okay, so just come back, name equal to like first name and last name, and I will use this functionality, user profile dot first name and last name, user profile dot last name. Okay, so this is a new functionality in the C sharp. You can concatenate two string look like this with the dollar sign. We don't have create like string dot format methods, or like we have to pass the argument, so we don't have to worry about these things. Just simply you have put this all the methods. If you're not aware this C sharp concept, so don't worry, I will create a separate session for this. Also I will bind the email, u dot email. Okay, and also I will bind address property, u dot address not address property does not contain. Okay, does not contain of this, it will contain user profile like under of these things, not a. Okay, so I will bind from here user address, yeah, this one. Okay, so finally email, I think something wrong here. Okay, email. So finally I have bind user. Okay, so this user will be push the list. Okay, so model dot model is here, the model that means our list. So I will add all the object one by one, so that's why I use the for each function. So one by one it will get and retrieve and just add in the list. Okay, so that is a very simple straightforward code, and just use the that user. Okay, so I have added, and I will just pass that model over the here. Okay, I have something wrong. Okay, just pass model over here. Okay, now I have created for the list of user module user list. So when the application run and call the index action method from the user control which are the HTTP requests, it get all the user list. Okay, so just first I just build all the solution and just see how's working. Build all the solution. Okay, one by one I will create it, and one by one I will show you how to look like, or what our output like should be appear. Okay, so just run this application because I have already created the view. Okay, just remove. Okay, now I have created, and if I will go the user control and index, now you can see over here all the properties, and you know here is an any no no list here because in our database has empty because I have not add any user information. So I will use next functionality for this create new user. Whenever I will create, so it will pop up it will create give a no as a user registration form, and I will add all the information about the user. After submitting, you can see the user list. Okay, so let's start for the implementation of add user. So first what we have to do, okay, so while hit this way like user controller and index, so I will create navigation bar whenever I will create whenever I will click the user navigation, so I can reach that page. So for this what we will do, you know I will do add a navigation like in our mm, okay, view shared, you know our page is home index, not a home index. We have to reach a layout, under the layout, not layout, I think so. Yes, yes, you can see two navigation bar. So I will put the another navigation, so copy and paste, and you have to we are using, you can see it is a new things, ESP dash controller. What is that? It is a new things of ASP.NET Core. Actually it is a tag helper. While we are using, in previous MVC we are using, at the rate HTML dot action link, or at the rate action dot redirect to page. So that all of things will handle like no currently, if you have to set the home, if you set the controller and action, so it will redirect and reach that page. Okay, so for example my controller name is user, and my action name is, my list page name is index. So I just put here, save here, build here. Okay, no need to build because I already debug mode. So I think it will appear if you refresh. Okay, we have to change the name as well. So where is our name? Privacy. So here I will set the user list. Okay, or you can space users. Okay, and just refresh it. Okay, now you can see user, and whenever you will click in this navbar. Oh wow, that's great. You can see over the user list here. Okay, so now we have to move to implementation, create new, because right now we will create on this, nothing happened because I haven't, generate anything for this controller or action anything. So just implement, just first of stop these things. Okay, go to user controller. Okay, so so be- um, first we have to add, public action result. you know I will create, method, and that name would be add user. Okay, because whenever user will click on the add user, so and it will decorate with the http get request, because it is a guest request. First time as a page will appear, and after that you will put the all information and send the post request. It will go to the server and save all the information and get back to the index page. So basically this add user, a behavior look like this, and http http get. Okay, so okay, so this get method return the add user, add user form, registration form. So we have to add a model. So user view model, where is our model class? User view model is a model equal to new view model. Okay, and just return is a view as a model. Okay, we have to pass that model so that all the property be available there. Okay, so also, the get request for the add user action method, return add user view under the user folder of the view. Under folder of the view, you can over here, you know currently we have only the index method. So whenever I will create, as a, HTML CSTML class, so just wait, just we have to add user, and template should be, what type of template, because we will create a, insert functionality. So I will create template and model as a, our view model. Okay, so just add on and it will create. Okay, now you can see over here, you know all the user property, all the that user model have property, all the property has created. Okay, so I just want to show only those property which we have to insert it. Okay, so I don't want required add functionality, add property. So I will remove it. I don't require also the name property, because it is a concatenate property like first name and last name, so I don't require that. I need username. Okay, so I need email address, I need password, and I need first name, last name, and also I need addresses. Okay, I don't need required also no add user function. So okay, so currently our user model, user view model, add user view model has created successfully. Also, I have it is a get request, and also I will create for post request. Actually I have I have create a submit button. So whenever I will put the submit button, I will click on the submit button, it will generate a post request. So where is our post request will created in user controller. The same method we will create for the post. Okay, so just copy and paste here. Just http post http post method. Okay, so and http post method actually have a it's contain the user model, user view model. User view model is a model. Okay, and we have to remove these things because we will implement in the from the scratch. Okay, and now this model, what we'll do, this model, from the form model, actually it is a form model. You can see here over the binding all the model, all the property, it will send the post request, and that post request will go to database and it will insert it, particular user and user profile. So we have to create as an entity of this model. So how we'll do that? We have to create user entity, user entity. Okay, user entity. Okay, user entity, new user. It's have now all entities. It is a class of the user. Where is our class? This class is our data dot OA dot data folder or data object. It's the contain all the three properties behalf of the user profile. Okay, so just come back in the user controller and just username. I will pass the username as a where will come the username. It will come from the model binding. Okay, so we put the model dot username. Same I will for the email also. Email model dot email. Same things we will do for password model dot password, and add the date. Actually a table have that user table have by default, like I will just show you. Okay, just table, user table have, these are four properties, like, one, two, three, six, seven properties, So these are property, coming from the model binding, like username, model, email, and password. But modify date and edit date, it will generate automatically. Currently, whenever the entity, inserted in the database, then that time we have to generate current date or time. So current date at time, how to get the current date at time? So it is a .NET functionality, date time dot UTC. I will use the UTC, or you can use the current date, like you date time dot now. Also you can use the date time dot now. So okay, now I will use the date time dot now. Okay, whenever you will create real application, so that time I'm especially recommend to you, please use datetime dot UTC, because that is a UTC time, and after that you can convert any of the environment. Okay, so same thing I will do for the modify date time dot now. Just copy paste, just for fast coding. And also I will put the IP addresses, and IP addresses where will coming. You can get the requested dot http context class dot connections dot remote IP addresses dot to string. Actually, it is a we can get this class is this property IP addresses, but actually our IP address is no string property. That's why we have to convert in the to string. Okay, so that's it. We have create a now user entity, and also we have to pass user have profile. So we have to create user entity as well as user profile. So same thing we have to create for user profile. So how we can create? So again we have to create a user profile model for the same things like we can set the name of user profile equal to new user profile. Okay, because user entity have like a navigation property, so that's why we can generate all the entities for the user and user profile. So it's have first name we are coming from model dot first name, and last name coming from model dot last name, and addresses address address coming also model dot addresses, and also it's have same property like these three property. So I just copy and paste here because it's a similar property. Okay, so you can see over here add, modify, IP address and ID. It is similar property for the all the table. If you not aware this thing, so please watch my part 8. I have created OA dot data. So I have described all of things why I have created common property for all the properties, all the tables. Okay, so I have created user entity, and I just put that code. Okay, I just send to this entity in our user services. So how to do that? Okay, just remove that. Okay, just use this dot user. Where is our add user functionality? Our add user functionality under the user services. We are what is the user services? User service nothing but we have injecting that services, and that user service have now all the now add, update, insert, delete everything. I have created. If you not aware these things, I know how to create a services. So please, I especially recommend please watch my um, part 9 of this series. Okay, part 9, sorry, part 10. Okay, so don't worry. So I will add user this service. Okay, sorry, I forget that name. Insert user. Actually, I have created insert user, and insert user expect entities of the data dot user. So I have created it is a data dot user entity. So I will just pass that property the model, and okay, and I will check if this dot user service dot, okay, no, okay, whenever I will pass, so I will check if it's successfully inserted, so that time that entity return, of ID. Okay, so where is our ID? Okay, that entity have a ID. So it ID greater than 0, that means inserted successfully. Okay, so return to return to redirect direct to action. Okay, so which action? Our user list. User list action. What the user list action name is? Index. So I put in the index. Actually, you can see over here is our user list action name is index. So whenever it's completed, inserted successfully, so that time it will redirect to index action. Okay. If anything is wrong, so it will redirect to our add user page. Okay. So now it's completed, and also I have created for like our our add user page also. So now I have to run is and see what happened. Actually, we have to see, first we have to build these things and build. Okay. Okay, now we have build and build succeed. So before run this application, we have to change something. If you remember, I have created a user control list and as a indexed page. So suppose go to, okay, you know this page, all the model binding will bind, by the for each loop. So if a result 3 to 5 or 10, so every model, it will model contain list, and every model will bind, for each according to. Okay, so this it have, it have, like uh, create link, like, add user link. So it have action, what action will redirect to this page, create. But right now I have created add user, so we have to change that create to add user. So please change this add user. Okay, it is action name. Also you can put esp 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 slash action, controller name. Okay, so you can put also user controller. Okay, we can redirect to user and add user functionality. Okay, so we have done, and just run it and let's see how functionality is working or not. Let's see. Okay, okay, so currently I can see, uh, just see the how many records in our table, so that make sure our inserted is working successful, correctly or not. Select star from this user. Okay, from, okay, I think we have another database, like, okay, we have, our database name is first db, so we have to change my first db. And if I want to see, okay, there is no records. Okay, so what is my another table name is user profile. So select star from this and we will execute both query. Okay, now we can see here is no any details, data. So just run our application and what I see. Okay, now I have running my application and just redirect to user page. User page does not have any data, so I have create the create new. So click on the create. Okay, wow, great. Now you can see all the list, all the model here, and I just create example like how is working. Karthik Podar, password 123, first name KK, PP, address Noida, and just create it. Oh wow, now you can see over here, it's created, but some property is missing, like ID has created, but we don't declare this property. Okay. Okay, let's investigate why it's not populating all the property. Okay. Okay, so let's come in the code. Okay. Okay, so okay, one thing, just remove the debugger, just remove this property. Also I want to username, yes, email address, don't record the email address. Oh, okay, record the email address, don't record the password because you don't want to see the password. First name is okay, last name edit, not this required. Okay, so I want to show these five properties, username, email, first name, last name. Okay, so also I have removed for the binding also, username, email, password not required, and first name, last name, address, all and this also not required. Okay, so okay, and also I want to see why it's not populating because our database. Let's check in the database. Okay, now in the database you can see every property has submitted. Every property has a value. First name, email address, but here is not binding. Why it's not binding, it's not populating. So let's investigate why it's not populating. Okay, so I think here something, okay, I have only binding the property name, email, and addresses. Okay, three property I have binded, so that's why only three property will be visible. So I just change, I have to just change that three property. Okay, what name, email, and addresses. Okay, so name, email, and addresses, where is our name, email, and addresses? Okay, name, email, address. Okay, where is our index page? Yeah, this is our index page. Name, email, and addresses. Okay, so just change username to name. Okay, name, email, and addresses. Okay, three properties are required because I have binding. If you want more property, if you want to binding, so just clear declare here, so that after that it will populate from here. So name, email, and addresses. Okay, so I don't require these things. Okay, okay, just build and run. Okay, just click user. Okay, now you can see, name has a first name and last name concatenated folder, concatenated name, and email address. Email address is a this, and addresses is not actually, I put the wrong email address. Okay, so we have to implement also validation. So don't worry, I'll show you how to take care of this of things. Okay, so now, Okay, I have create functionality has been successfully. Now I will implement edit details and details and delete as well. Okay, so let's start for edit functionality. So so to pass the data from UI controller to edit a user, use same view model named as a user view model. We have to create a edit user method or action controller which will return view to edit user. Okay, so just stopped debugging and go to the user control. Okay, and okay, we have to write edit view page. Okay, so edit have a view which is return the all the user information. Okay, bind it first. After that you can change any property and submit to the database, submit to the request, and that request updating your user information. Okay, so first I will create http 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 get and public action method action result edit user. It's edit user the parameters would be nullable and id, because whenever send a request for the edit user, it will contain a id parameter, particular which user you want to add it. So that's why that id will pass that edit request. Okay, so again I will populate the user view model is a model. Okay, new view model. Okay, if we will check first if id dot has a hash value, it means it will contain any value. Okay, and if id dot it's it not equal to 0, so just checked if if not null your id, so that time what we will do, we will bind the user with the user entity and this dot user service. Okay, we will get some user information, a particular user information based on the id. So our all the information we are have contained in our which services, user services have all the user insert, update, delete. You can perform anything for this user service. So is this user service have method get user. So that get user what will return, it will return the user entity. Okay, only single user entity. So this this method expect id parameter, so it will come from here and okay, so okay, 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 actually, it will contain, long, like, not nullable. So, okay, so not nullable. So please remove these things. If you want to not nullable, so you have to also know this method. You make sure you have to create not nullable property from also get user methods. Okay, so that is very simple. You can do that yourself. Okay, so now I have to bind the user profile entity as well. The already I said already previous I had discussed, if you want to user information, so user information have user profile foreign key relationship. So that's why user profile user profile entity user profile of user profile entity equal to this dot user profile service dot get user profile also contain ID, user ID. So now I have user entity also, I have user profile entity also. We get all the both entities. Now I have to bind a model. Where is our model? In model, this is model folder. Okay, so if you remove your nullable property, so don't require this code, so you can remove it. Okay, so model dot first name, where it will come first name, user entity, first name will come, I think, user profile entity, then profile entity dot first name. Okay, and model dot last name, that also come user profile entity dot last name. Okay, model dot address, where is it? It's also user profile entity dot address. And one more model we have to bind, that is model dot email, and that is under of the user entity dot email. Okay, now actually, for example, I have I've set the four models for property, but if you required more property, so you can add more property here. Okay, and I'm just you know all the property is binding, so after that I will just return view, and that view you know name of end user. Okay, okay, with the binding of model. Okay, 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 suppose user, okay, what happened? Okay, suppose user request sent to the edit user controller action method. So if first he will check id is contain or not. If it's contain, so it will populate all the user information, and then retrieve and view in the view this view, edit user view. If suppose that is does not have any any does not contain any ID, so that time only just bind blank model, that's that form. Okay, so okay, it is HTTP GET request, because whenever user click and see, okay, this information of the users for the edit for the editing, but after after seeing the editing all the information, we want to create the post request for the changing request for the we can see for the change, suppose I want to change your first name, so that time I have to send to the request in the server like HTTP server. Okay, so that time I have to create post request. So that time what we will do, I will create same method as a post method. Okay, copy, paste, and decorate with the post. Okay, and that time actually suppose user request for the editing user, so it will get model, and after getting the model we have to post request with the model. Okay, so we want to change any entity of this model, so we have to send user model as a model. Okay, and we have to we have to change some code here, just remove here. Okay, just get, again we have to get the user entity. So first we have to get the user entity, and you know user entity. Okay, and service entity as well, and and that time we can get from ID in the model, in the model within the model. Okay, so model have, I think, naming convention is very important, so we have to create these things. Okay, okay, so we have to bind same thing. So first I have to bind user entity, user entity model, same like we, as before we have we have create like this. Okay, so for the post request we have to add those those field which we have to modify. So suppose I have to show the all three for the properties, so I want to change these four properties. Okay, so three properties is the under of the user entities, and one property is under of the user profile. Oh, sorry, email is contained in user entity, and other three ones is contained in the user profile. So I just user entity, I will set user entity dot email equal to model dot email. Okay, so I have set the email, and also I will I will set user entity dot address add date and modify date, as previous I already discussed about these things. And this time always new date should be there. Okay, Okay, not created yet because we have not creating, actually we are modifying. So I will I will send the modify date and modify, current date time. So date time dot now. Okay, same as it is we have to done in the three property, like first name, last name and addresses, and also modify. Okay, so and also actually some other PCs send the request, so we have to maintain IP address all as well. Okay, so just copy here and just paste here, and user have this property. Okay, okay, so same thing we will do for this. Okay, so user profile, first name, user profile first name is a model dot first name, and last name model dot last name. Also one more property is addresses. Okay, so user profile entity dot address, it will contain model dot address. Okay, and two more properties we have to use like this. Okay, just remove here and this semicolon, we will use semicolon. Okay, now we have to change entity names, so now it is content of the user profile. Okay, and finally I have to I have to use the service that all also I use in previous for inserting. So we have method for the update, for update service also. So user service dot you update user. Okay, so I want to update the user, and update user expect the entity of the user entity. Okay, so I will put user entity here. Okay, okay, one more thing I have miss here. So user entity have profile, user profile. So actually we have set the user profile entity from the user model. Okay, so we have to set also user entity. So how can do that? Just user entity dot user profile, these things, and it will assign of the user all the user entity which I have bind from the model, view model. Okay, so now I have completed. Okay, same things I have to checked if is successfully updated, so it will return ID, increase the ID. Okay, so how to check? If user entity dot ID greater than 0, then return to redirect to action, redirect to action, direct to action, index page means it is a user list page. Okay, so save it, and if not success, so just return your edit page also, you know any issue, so it will occurring in that page also. Okay, so just we have to create now now we have to create user edit user view. So how we can create it? So just add edit. Okay, edit these things, add view. Okay, edit user, and we will select the template of the edit, and model will be user view model, and just add now. It will generate auto template. Okay, and we will remove the unnecessary properties from that edit template. So give me a second. Okay, so you can see it's a binding model, and I have only just few properties, like from you can see the edit get request, how many properties we have binding. Four properties: first name, last name, address, or email. So those four property I will bind from there. Okay, so just so I will remove here, I will remove also ID, first name, last name, and email. We will remove also this one, first name, last name, and address, and we will remove also this one. Okay, so yeah, now I have successfully create edit functionality. So before running this application, just execute and build build is success or not, just checked. Okay, will succeed. Just execute this function. uh, okay, from here. Okay, now user. Okay, previously I have checked, create functionality is working fine. Now I have to check now edit functionality is working or not. So just click on the edit functionality. Okay, now whenever I click the edit functionality is not working. It is redirect and reload again this page. Okay, so what will happen? So let's see investigation. Let's do the investigation. Okay, so first we have to go to index page. Actually, it is the index page of the user. Okay, so it's not showing, but it is a index page. And okay, now you can see I have not passed any ID parameter of the like for example, I just first of all will remove all the documents, close all, but not this. Okay, okay, so first we have to look user control, and user control have it's contain ID parameter. That's why it's not binding, because it does not contain anything and not come here. So we have to okay, we have to go first index page of the user. So where is our index page? Here is the index page, and we have to this we have to correct only these things, and we have to bind a ID. Okay, okay, okay. And one more thing we have to change here. Actually, here is no edit and edit. What is this action link? This is action name and controller name. So action name and controller name. Our action name is what? Our action name is edit user. Okay, so we have to put the edit user. Okay, okay, so let's refresh again and let's check it's working or not. Okay, let's check. Wow, now it's populating everything, email address and let's see. It's it is a get request. Actually, it is a get request. Now whenever I will submit, it will create a post request and it will go to the server, and it's submit all the model which we will send from this user, and it will update it. Okay, so just I have change Podar 123 and KK 123 and save it. Wow, that's great. Now you can see I can change here. Okay. Okay, now left two things we have to implement it, details and delete. Okay. So let's move to first we have to, we will implement for the delete functionality. So same thing we will do, we will create, get functionality and post functionality. Okay, so before going to this, first we have to change, first stop the debugging and delete user. First we have to, you know we have to create action, so that name would be delete user. And also, id parameter will come from id. Okay, that's correct. Okay. Okay, so first we have to create a get method for the delete. So just copy and paste, and just name is delete user, and it's also, expect the ID parameter, and ID is, if. Okay, so we don't require, much more information, so just remove it. Actually, it will come for the delete confirmation page, and it will show, first name and last name. It will show the particular user, and it will says a confirmation. Yes, are you sure want to delete it? So that's why we are creating a get request. Okay, so just remove all of things. Okay, and so create a delete user. Okay, and model. Okay, now I have created, delete user. Okay, so user model, user model, will bind, first name and last name. Okay, so it's fine, first name and last name. Okay. Okay, now same things we will do, for the post request. Okay, so post request is very similar to these things. So just copy. Okay, just change the http bar with the post, and delete user with the id of this. Okay, so what we will do actually. Okay, so we have create, duplicate model, duplicate action. So one thing we have to change here, same name, same action name we can't create, one controller. So we have to change different parameter. So what I will do, I will just change as a long. Okay, why I will change long, just I will tell you. Just a second, just remove here, this dot user service have delete functionality, delete user, and that delete user have long. So that's why I will create as a post method as a long. Okay, so I just put here. Okay, and I will return to the redirect, whenever delete has been successful. So redirect, redirect to action, redirect to action, our user detail page. So where is our user detail page? Index is a have a user detail page. Okay, so the get, the get request for the delete user action method return the delete user view in the confirmation. Okay, and now we have no we have create delete user view also. Actually I have not create, I think. Okay, so now we have to create a delete view user. So how to create? Add view, delete, and delete, and just binding the bind the model. Okay, bind the model. Where is our model? Okay, service view model, service view model. Okay, this is a model and just create it. It will take time. Okay, okay, let's remove unwanted property. Actually, you know I will populate only this two property. Okay, if you want more property, so you can just put here and set over here. Okay, so I will remove id parameter, name, user, username, email. Okay, password, also password. Okay, I need first name and last name also. Okay, I need record only two things. So just remove these things also. Okay, control D. So proper set these things, and you can see it's have HTML helper tag also we have used for whenever we will submit submit this form, it will redirect to action page of delete user. Okay, so finally I have completed delete function also. So just run and see what happened. Okay, so I think it will also will work. Hmm. Okay, click on user, and I just want to delete this user. Okay, so just click delete. Okay, we have the functionality of the confirmation. So if you want to delete, so delete, and if you first we have to check backlist is working. Okay, backlist is working, so delete and delete. Wow, now we can see record has been deleted. Okay, so that great things, and that are good things, implementation has been done. Okay, so the final functionality we will implement details view, details action also. So just create a details method. It's have only get functionality. It is not post request. It's have only the get request. So we will create only just get request. Details user, we will put in the details, details user. Okay, and we will get all the entities like for the edit user I think I use, okay, look like this. Okay, so just copy, okay, just copy of the same of edit user, just copy and paste here. Okay, okay, and detail user comes only for id, and we will create a model, and first I will check if id parameter is exist not equal to 0, is the less than of 0. So what we'll do, we will get the user entities, and that user entities and user profile entities, and both we will bind our details view, and details views I will bind for not I will bind sixth parameter like id as well as id. So just model dot id equal to where it will come user entity dot id. Okay, and also I will use email id, first name last name address, email, and username. Model dot username equal to user entity. You can set according to you, because it is an example. For this example I am using 4 to 5 properties, but according to you, you can set 5 properties, 10 properties, as per the requirement. So user entity dot username. Okay, okay, that's it. So, and I will return the model, only just model, because it this method does not have any post method, so that's why I will not create any redirect to any other actions. So details have been finished, detail functionality has been done, and I just create add view. Okay, detail user, and details user and details, and just bind model class, as previous I have already described these things. So model class detail and just add. Okay, so we have to remove unwanted property here, like I have id, name property I don't require name property. Okay, username, email, password also not required, so I will remove this password also. First name, last name, and address, add user also I want to remove here. Okay, actually it is a very simple HTML. Just set the property dt to label and values. Okay, so I have implement. Okay, and also actually how, okay, so actually this detail detail view have one more link. If you want edit this particular user, so you can also do that. So how can implement these things? So you just set you can set id property here, and also you can use that action method. Which action method? Edit user action method, which we have already edit user method, yeah, this one. Okay, so whenever user click on that action link, user redirect to edit user functionality action. Okay, so okay, one more thing we have to change on the index HTML. Details, does not have this action method. We have, for the details action, what the name of them, our details action method, details user. So just copy and replace the action name of details user and set our item dot id. So finally I have implement all the functionality. Just build it, check if any error there. No, it is build succeed, and run our application. Okay, so finally I have implement all the you know all the functionality like insert, update, delete and read. So let's check in the database also. Our database have any entities, any user information. Here is a no any information. Okay, so let insert first. Okay, you know first name look like YouTube, and YouTube @gmail.com. Password you can set over things, and first name KKP, and Podar, and address Noida. Okay, just create. Wow, now you can see we have to add the user, and if you want to edit, so you can just click, and I want to KKP2, KKP123 and Podar 123. Save it. Wow, you can see it's have change for the edit user, and also I can see the details. Okay, I can see the particular user details over here with the user details functionality. So it's working correctly. And now I can also I can use the edit functionality here. I just put the edit and I just remove 123 and just 123. Now it's working fine. And also I just check, I want to check it, delete functionality is working or not. Okay, so wow, it's now deleted. Okay, so what we have to cover in this session, I have covered all the ASP.NET Core MVC CRUD operation, also implement onion architecture. Okay, so please keep watching and subscribe my channel, and thank you.